We have more listings and fewer pending than we had this same time last year. Let's talk about that and more in this week's segment of Market Watch. Hi everyone, it's Joshua Barks here, Associate Broker with Keller Williams Realty Boise and Team Lead of the Barks & Co. Real Estate Team. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's segment of Market Watch. I missed you guys, but we're back at doing videos, and February was a great month to take some time to spend with my family. So if you're on my list and get my emails every week, you still got those numbers. So that's really great. And next week, we're going to be going into that deep dive into the market dynamics, and there will be a video for that as well. So without further ado, let's dive into the numbers that we're seeing this week. We have almost 300 active listings in Ada County right now, 299 compared to the 252 we saw last week. We had 159 new listings come to market compared to last week's 142. And then when you're looking at the number of pending sales, we have 510 pending overall compared to last week's 540. So we are down slightly in the overall pendings. We had 134 homes go under contract in the last 7 days compared to the 151 that went under contract the week prior. Now, the overall pending decrease has more to do with the number of home sales increasing because it was the last week of the month / first week of the month. And we had 169 homes close in the last 7 days, which is up more than 50 homes from the 113 we saw last week. So that's really good right there. When you're looking at the average days on market right now, if you're taking into account everything that's pending, because that's likely going to give you the best idea at what the average days on market is currently, without looking at all of the sales over the past 12 months, and we're at 14 days on average, which I think is still up from what we saw in the market dynamics as well. So we are likely going to continue to see days on market rise as we get further and further into the year. And like I said, next week we're going to be covering the market dynamics for February, so you can see everything that happened in February 2022, and we'll compare that to February 2021. Now, when we're looking at what happened this time last year, we actually have more listings than we had this time last year, which is wonderful. We had 191 active listings compared to our basically 300 right now. And we had 530 pending overall compared to our 510 pending. So it's very similar on the pending level, but we have way more inventory than what we had this time last year. So these numbers indicate that we're going to have another strong spring, but it's probably not going to be as crazy as we saw last year, which is actually fantastic news, because I don't know if we can take emotionally another struggle of a spring market for buyers out there, and the overwhelm that you can get as a seller with just all of the influx of activity and things just kind of flying off the shelves. So last year, as you know, we saw that basically 35% increase in the average sold price. This year, like I predicted earlier, we're not going to see that again. We're likely to see that at a much slower pace. Based on what we're seeing so far this year, I'm going to say we're probably going to end up in that 15% give or take range. That's what we're on track for right now, barring, of course, any extraneous external factors that are in the global markets right now, because we have a lot of uncertainty out there. And because of that uncertainty, we actually did see interest rates drop for the first time in a couple weeks, not by much, but by 1/10 of a percentage point. We're now at 3.76% for the 30-year fixed rate mortgage, according to Freddie Mac's research, which is down from last week's 3.89%. And if you ignore the last couple weeks where we were almost at 4%, and look at that 3.76, that's still higher than where we were interest rate wise going into the pandemic. And it's actually the highest it's been since December of 2019, excluding the last couple of weeks. So still very likely going to continue to see interest rates rise, though because of the uncertainty that we're experiencing right now, my guess is interest rates are likely going to hover in that upper threes, maybe even early fours mark, because we're still combating inflation. So as inflation rises, the biggest tool that the Fed has to combat that is rising rates. And then, as you know, the Fed rate, while not directly making mortgages cost more, it indirectly causes interest rates to rise on the mortgage side of things as well. So we're going to likely see that continue to rise, but you can say goodbye to the 2% mortgage rates because those aren't coming back probably ever, and say hello to being in the high threes and early fours, likely through spring. Now, everyone is indicating that if kind of everything starts resolving fairly quickly over the next couple of months, we're going to continue to see interest rates rise. So as soon as this is kind of come to some kind of resolution, we're likely going to see interest rates continue to rise as we try to get ourselves out of the inflationary period that we've seen in our markets. Now, when you're looking at last year's active listings compared to this year's active listings and having more, now I think a big part of that is a lot more people are comfortable moving right now, and we've had such a mild winter that we're likely to continue to see new inventory come to market. And when you're looking at the number of pendings, the reason that we don't have a huge amount of pending compared to the new inventory we have to market is, one, interest rates, of course, and then two, we still have a lot of listings that are coming on the market that are overpriced right now. So buyers are waiting and being pickier because now we're starting to shop at the higher end of their budgets, and at some point, some people at the very tippy top of what they can afford, so they're being pickier, as they should be, with what they actually want. So it's more important than ever that your home is marketed, priced correctly, and in great condition so that your home sells quickly and for top dollar, because then you're going to get all of the eyeballs from the buyers in the marketplace rather than, have your home sit on the market for that average days of 14. Now, when you're looking at the average days on market for everything active right now, we're at 35 days, which is more than double what we have for those that are pending. So that, again, shows you overpriced listings or listings that aren't marketed well or not in great shape are going to sit on the market longer. Now, if you're thinking about buying or selling sometime this spring or maybe even early summer, now is actually the time to get started, meeting with a real estate professional that you trust so that you can get your ducks in a row, figure out what you're looking for, figure out what you're going to do in order to accomplish that before the market gets away from you. Especially because now might be just the opportune time to be a seller and a buyer in our current market, mostly because it's still a very strong seller's market. And interest rates probably won't stay this low for very long. So if you're a seller and a buyer, you can lock in on the lower interest rates that we're seeing right now before they increase even more, and then capitalize on the sale because it's still a strong seller's market. So doing all the things that you need to do and getting those multiple offers to get you highest dollar on your sale. And then timing wise, if you are a seller right now and you put your home on the market over the next month or so, once that home closes and you become a buyer, then you're going to be on the market as a buyer looking for homes when we have more inventory than what we typically have now. So that could actually work out in your favor, because our highest inventory months that we usually see in a normal year is going to be that late spring, early summer, so like May, June-ish. And as we get into spring, that's when we see more inventory come on the market. So right now could be a great time to capitalize if you're a seller, if that's what you're looking for. And if you want to buy in the same market, it could be a great time to capitalize on those interest rates staying fairly low, because they're supposed to rise throughout the rest of the year. That's pretty much what I have this week. Next week, tune in for that deep dive. And of course, as always, if you have any questions or if there's any information I can provide to you or anything that I can help with real estate related, send them to me. Comment on the video below, or you can always email me as well. And just let me know how I can help you better educated so that you can make good decisions when it comes to real estate. My number, 208-914-1095. And of course, you can always visit my website here at the bottom of the screen, www.barksrealestate.com/our-services to book me online. You can book an appointment directly with me there because it links up right to my calendar, and choose a time and day that works for you. Fill out a little form saying I'm a buyer, I'm a seller, I'm both. And then you set that appointment up and meet for that consultation. No obligation there. I'm happy to give free information for you to use however you choose. Even if you're not moving right now or are just considering moving and maybe you're like, oh, I don't want to waste anyone's time, I can assure you there's no wasting of my time. This is what I do. That's what I enjoy. I want to educate people and bring as much value to you and help as much as I can. And then you guys get to make the decision that's right for you and your family. Okay, that's what I have this week. I hope everyone has a great weekend. I'm happy that the weather is starting to warm up a little bit, but I did look at the forecast and it looks like it might snow again next week. Not looking forward to that. But until then, I will see you next Friday, and take care.